Hi, I'm Jason, and welcome to Community Design Review, where we look at some of the best custom cards from the Custom Magic subreddit for this week. Let's start with the shoutout for this week, which is an entire mechanic, Chant. Chant says, as an additional cost to cast instant and sorcery spells, you may tap this creature. If you do, that creature is chanting that spell. Then, depending on what that creature does, you can shock something, keep something tapped, or make 1/1s. Esteemed Goblin seems a little too powerful, though. I like everything about it except for the fact that it makes tokens that can also chant. In a limited environment, that takes this card from already really strong, probably like a B or something in the right deck, to being absolutely insane because you can just keep casting spells and keep getting more 1/1s. If you have 2 or 3 creatures with chant already and you cast a spell, you get to make 2 or 3 goblins off of that spell. Then if you have another cheap spell to play, you can chant with all of those goblins again because this ability gets around summoning sickness. Then the following turn you can chant with all of them, and it just gets out of hand way too quickly. So I like this card, I just don't want the tokens to have chant. Overall, you might want to find a replacement word for goblin here or there, but I really like the mechanic. It's pretty sweet, and I'd love to see how it plays out. Our last shoutouts for the week is a trio of cards from The Hobbit. I'm not going to read through all 3 cards, but I want to point out a couple things that I thought were interesting or cool. First, the flavor on these cards is great. It's clear that the designer took a lot of time to fine-tune the abilities so that they would really suit the characters. I especially like the fact that Bilbo's adventure Burgle is off-color, kind of showing how it's not really in flavor for him, and he's kind of forced to go out of his comfort zone. Now that I'm done admiring these cards, I think that they're all stupid broken. First off, you have Gandalf, who is a 4-color legendary creature that only requires 1 color of mana, 1 color of 3 different types of mana, that is, to be able to use any mode of him, and he only costs you 3 mana to play. Then he also loots, which is going to help you fix your mana, and he ends up shocking things if you have cards you can't play of other colors. Not to mention the fact that in the Unexpected Party, the rogue is Bilbo Baggins, the warrior is Thorin Oakenshield, but who's the cleric, huh? You really just gonna put that in there just for the mechanics of party, as opposed to actually considering the ramifications of it for the flavor? Then you have Bilbo. In Commander, the Burgle is going to be really powerful stealing Soul Rings on turn 1. And in like a limited format, a 1-drop that gives you a token every time it attacks is kind of crazy, because especially if you're on the play, you're going to be able to attack with this once, maybe twice before the opponent even has a blocker. And in that case, you're already ramping so much that you're kind of already running away with the game because you're playing like a 5-drop on turn 3. Not to mention the fact that if you have an equipment, Bilbo Baggins can attack basically unblockable and unremovable. And also, let's not forget about the fact that green doesn't really get as long as things are equipped abilities, unless of course you're going to follow in the footsteps of The Walking Dead. But I would not do that. Finally, Thorin Oakenshield gives you 6 power and 7 toughness across 3 bodies for just 5 mana, not to mention a little bit of first strike, and the treasures can't be sacrificed thing basically makes it so that you giving them a treasure is worthless. Of course, they can remove Thorin Oakenshield, and there's a lot of flavor reason to do it too, but I'm just saying it's not really enough of a downside to warrant all of these stats for such little mana. Again, all of these, because they're adventures, are very versatile. You don't have to play the adventure first, you can just play this as a 2/3 first strike for 3 if you wanted, and that makes all of these cards kind of crazy good. But sweet. Definitely sweet. Our meme card for the week is 1 stone, 1 in a green for an artifact. 2, tap, sacrifice 1 stone. Destroy target creature with flying. If that creature was a bird, you may destroy another target bird creature. You know what they say. Number 5 for this week is Blood Bolt. Red Phyrexian mana and red for an instant. Blood Bolt deals 3 damage to any target. I don't really know what all the praise is about for this card. I don't know if people have heard, but there's this card called Lightning Bolt that's just strictly better. So I don't really see why you would you'd make a card just inferior to another card. You know what I'm saying? For real though, this is a cool little way to make a Lightning Bolt playable but not overpowered. Maybe, probably not. Probably still overpowered. In fact, this would just be giving Modern Burn yet another red 3 damage spell to any target. So, on second thought, no. Downvote. Number 4 for this week is Bonas, the Underhand. Black-blue hybrid. Legendary creature human advisor for a 1/3. As Bonas enters the battlefield, target opponent becomes the monarch. You may look at your opponent's hand anytime if they are the monarch. Whenever an opponent draws a card, except for the first card they draw each turn, if they are the monarch, you may draw a card. Definitely improvement over the first version of the card, which if you were the Monarch allowed you to go infinite instantly. Overall, really sweet. I like the idea of playing a game, probably Commander, where you introduce the Monarch to the game, but then you don't want to actually get it at all. Meaning all of your opponents are going to be attacking each other for the Monarch, but you don't even care who has the Monarch because you're drawing cards regardless. This also makes Wheel of Fortune type cards really cool because you're going to be drawing double the cards off that. And I can just see a really cool Commander deck coming out of this. So like this design a lot, definitely keep it up. For number 3 this week, we have another freaking card named Mox. Lazotep this time. 0 cost artifact. Tap. Add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a spell from a graveyard or to activate an ability of a card in a graveyard. No, thank you. As if the words Mox and graveyard didn't already go so well together, you now have a Mox Lazotep. While I always like spin-off cards of really powerful Magic cards, such as the Moxen or, Black Lotus, etc., sometimes it just rubs me the wrong way, and I'm like shuddering, thinking I might have to play against that crazy combo deck that would use this, and I will say there would be a lot. Anyway, for number 2 this week, we have Bumble Cat, white-black for a creature, 1/1 with flying, lifelink, and death touch. It has adorable art, really cool flavor text, and overall is just a good card. In Limited, a 1/1 with flying and lifelink is really powerful because you're likely to hit your opponent several times before they get a blocker, and when you hit your opponent, you're getting a life swing of 2 every single time. Then when they finally do get a blocker, this just sits back, and eventually you could trade it off with some big scary threat. Sweet design, and I would keep a Bumble Cat. Number 1 for this week is Bloodstained Guillotine. Is a 1-mana artifact that says target player loses the monarchy, players cannot become the monarch. Oh, no, sorry. It says, when Bloodstained Guillotine enters the battlefield, target player stops being the monarch. Players cannot become the monarch. Wait, no, I have another version here that says, 0 mana, target player stops being the monarch, any player may activate this ability. Well, there's some more flavor there for sure. Okay, wait, but I think whoever's designing this card keeps getting beheaded and then replaced with someone else, because here's another version. Tap, target player who is the monarch stops being the monarch. Any player may activate this ability. Okay, I think we worked out all the kinks. I like this version a lot better because a guillotine doesn't stop people from taking power. It just, disincentivizes them to do so. Although on that note, I feel like this should almost make the monarch lose 2-3 life or something so that there is actually an incentive to not become the monarch. Otherwise, there's no reason not to become the monarch. It'll just be taken from you. But, generally you'd be losing your head, so I think a couple life is a good, flavorful way to represent this. Also, this is not a very good card, as fun as it is. It's super niche, and unless it says when it enters the battlefield you draw a card, it's not going in any person's deck. So I think the loss of life is just a little extra bonus for people to want to play this card. And those are all the designs we have for you this week, folks. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And in case anyone doesn't know, we now have a Discord server where people can share their custom cards and get feedback from other people in the Discord, as well as sometimes the StrataGames folks themselves. And as a community, we have been designing a Norse-themed set for quite a while. And so if you want to help with that, you can go to the Discord as well. So check out the link in the description, and we will see you there.